So for today's video, I figured I would do a little story time about my C-section story, my birth story basically. Maybe a lot of you are getting ready to give birth or already have given birth, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, after or before birth. I really hope that this video inspires a lot of people and to let you ladies know that you're not alone, that other people go through the same things that some other women do. My birth story is a little bit different because I did have a C-section, which is short for a cesarean section. I was a little bit nervous, I will say. I was nervous my whole pregnancy because I always heard rumors about that it's gonna hurt when you if you get the epidural, then you're gonna have back problems later on in life. So I was really hung in the air, but I know for sure that I wanted some kind of pain reliever because I am I'm not resistant to pain. Like, I hate pain. Like, I'm the most dramatic person in the world when it comes to pain. Like, I can't deal with pain. Like, I go crazy. My son was overdue, like a week. The one thing about me is that growing up in high school, I really had bad cramps, like to the point where I was bent over, pushed to the nurse because I was in so much pain. When it came time for my contractions, it pretty much felt the same because I used to have crazy cramps. So it was like maybe a little bit more pain than usual, but I was really already accustomed to that much pain when it came to cramps. Contractions are just like menstrual cramps. They're just times 20. That's pretty much what it is. When I found out what contractions were, I'm like, this is just like menstrual cramps except times 20. I was contracting, I would say like maybe a day before I gave birth, but as soon as I hit the hospital, my contractions went away. I don't know if anybody experienced the same thing, but when I had some crazy contractions and I went to the ER, they would immediately go away. I don't know how some hospitals work, but the hospital that I was in, if you weren't a certain centimeter, they would not take you. Like, they're not going to take you if you're 1 centimeter. Like, you have to damn near the baby's head is popping out your coochie for you to be seen by a doctor. But that's just the hospital that I was in. My doctor did tell me when I left the hospital that night, when my contractions went away, he did tell me, time your contractions. When your contractions are like 2 seconds and 3 seconds apart, that's when you need to come into the ER. My contractions were getting like a little bit hectic around, I would say, the afternoon, and I started experiencing my contractions a little bit more heavier than usual. So the crazy part about it was that there were no hospital vans available in my town.
Don't ask me why, I don't know.
I ended up having to wait for an ambulance from a different town. And they ended up taking me to the ER, and I was in so much pain and they couldn't give me the epidural yet, so they gave me something, I'm not really sure what it was, but I passed out. Like, I knocked out. I literally was knocked out. I was knocked out pretty much during the time before I got my C-section, but I do remember getting the epidural. They told me to stay very still, not to move. I'm not sure if it's true that you can get paralyzed if you do move. I'm not really sure if that's true or not, but I have heard rumors about that you could get paralyzed from the waist down if you do move. But I did stay very still because I like my legs, I like to walk, I like to do things for myself. So I stay very still. When you are about to go into labor and you're in the hospital, your doctor comes every couple of minutes or every couple of hours and check you to see how much you're dilating. If you're dilating 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and then they'll get to the point where they'll know, okay, it's time for her to push. For some reason, my water had broke, but my baby would not come out. Like, he was not trying to come out. They basically had to put water inside of the sac, I guess. That's what they said. They had to put fluid inside of the sac because he would not come out even after my water broke. When you are giving birth, they give young ladies or women something called Pitocin, and that's basically to speed up your contractions, to help you dilate a lot more. Basically help you with your dilation. The Pitocin was lowering my baby's heart rate. So that it came to the point where it was like, okay, now you need to have an emergency C-section because the baby's not coming out, the water is already broken, and now this Pitocin that's supposed to speed up your dilation is actually lowering the baby's heart. So it was immediate C-section. One thing that I did do, and I know a lot of mothers or soon-to-be mothers do this, that I go on YouTube and I always watch different girls' birth stories, like a lot. I didn't really look up cesareans, but I did look up some of them, but I really looked at, the pushing part because I was just like,
That looked like it really hurts, like a lot.
The one thing that I was a little bit nervous about was feeling pain while they were cutting me. I really didn't know when they were going to cut. So I'm laying there and everybody's moving around. So I'm like, okay, let me guys know when you're ready. They was like, oh, they already started. So I'm like, oh shit, they already started. Okay, oh my God. So in my mind,
They're slicing me up and slicing and cutting. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have some Freddy Krueger marks when I get up from this table.
I know the epidural, it numbs you from the waist down, so I really didn't feel them, cutting me or anything. One thing she did say, she said, okay, you're gonna feel pressure. So that was the point where I guess they were pulling the baby out. The pressure I felt was insane. Like I felt like they pulled my baby from my ass. Like that's what it felt like. You know how like when you're going swimming and you get out of the water and you can feel the water like pulling you down, and imagine that, but it's coming from your uterus in a sense. As soon as I heard my baby's laugh, well, my baby's cry, like I was so happy. Like I cried when my baby cried. Like, I was so happy because I was just like, in my mind, I don't know if mothers do this, but in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mother now. Like it was so many different scenarios going in my head. Like I'm a mom, I'm this, I'm that. Like it was crazy. So it was like all these emotions came rushing to the surface at once, and I just was crying and stuff, and I was so happy. Hardest part was not being able to really spend time with my baby when he was born because I was so exhausted and tired. I just immediately just fell out to sleep. They rode me into a different room so I could be with my baby and watch TV and stuff like that. Basically, the nerve that you use to get up and the nerve you use to go to the bathroom and do a number two, that's what was cut. I have to get help to get up, so it was very hard for me to do a lot because I'm a big hands-on person. I'm really hands-on, so I don't like not being able to do things. I had a 3-day stay in the hospital. They gave me a catheter for a C-section, so I was peeing through a bag basically. Maybe about the second day, they came into the room and told me, okay, you have to get up and start walking, and I'm just like,
Walk where?
in my back of my mind, I'm thinking like my intestines are gonna fall out the moment I get up out of this bed. What are you talking about walk? So basically I have to come out of my door and walk around. Basically try to regain my muscle strength back that was cut. They put this kind of measuring cup, I'm not sure, inside of the toilet, and when you go use the bathroom, I guess they check and see what number you go up to see how much control you have over your pressure to push your bladder out basically. They really don't send you home unless they know that you're able to move some of your muscle. That's why they make you get up and walk and make you do a bunch of stuff just to regain your muscle. It was really hard for me. Like I wanted to take a shower when I was there, and I did, and I could not bend down, so I pretty much was just like washing the top part, and then my lower legs by my feet were just like catching soap. Like I was just like, no, I have to wash all my body. Like somebody come up in here and wash between my toes. Like seriously. Women that do have C-sections, we're just as important as the women that do give birth vaginally, because whether or not you believe it, us women that have C-section births, our lives are pretty much at risk because of you getting surgery. People don't understand that once you are getting cut and you're in surgery, there's so much bacteria flying around in the space in the area, and it's crazy how you could get infected. Like everyone is different, but I just feel like when it comes to surgery, people need to understand like that's a really life-changing thing, and you have that scar for the rest of your life. I just feel like I earned my scar. I carried my son full term overdue. Whatever happens in the delivery room is beyond your control. When I did get home, the doctor told me that I had to, get help to get up, get help to move around. I just was like so happy to see my son, see my baby, and realize that, for 9 months I carried this precious baby inside of me. One thing I do have to tell you soon to be moms is understand that baby is going to do whatever baby wants to do. You can always have a mindset of how your birth is going to come out, but there's never an absolute that your birth is going to come out the way you expected it to. So it's always good to keep an open mind and understand that anything could happen in the delivery room, and you just have to be open-minded and strong enough to know that I think it's a real job carrying a child for 9 months and bringing it into this world. Like women are unique in so many ways, and it's just crazy how we're built to just bring life into the world. Like when you think about it, all the people that you admire, singers, actors, like a woman brought that person into the world. All women all around, vaginal birth or C-section birth, we all should be given 100% credit when it comes to, giving birth to a child and going through that much pain and dealing with all the effects of afterbirth and a bunch of other stuff. So one thing I will tell you though is when you do have, a baby vaginally and they tell you you can't have sex for 6 weeks, when you do have a C-section, you do bleed vaginally just like you would do if you were to give natural birth. So you'd have to wait 6 weeks and sometimes even longer because of your scar. So I had to wait for a total of maybe 2 months just to make sure everything was, nice and healed, because like I said, I don't want my intestines on the floor. That's not cool. Any women that do have a C-section that is lined up at the moment, just know that once you get past the rough patches, it's pretty much all worth it in the end, because you bring a beautiful child in the world. So just remember that. Really hoping that this story helped a lot of you guys overcome any kind of fears that you do have. If you want to see more story times and more different things about me, feel free to comment below, and I will most certainly take everything in and start doing a little bit more. Stay tuned for more videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.